Hello, hello, welcome everyone back in. We have one more best of two that we have left to show you, and it's FlyQuest Academy versus Counter Logic Gaming Academy. We had a little bit of teaser before we went to the break, but Crumbs, let's reintroduce these teams and what we can kind of expect from both of them.
Okay, from FlyQuest Academy, we can expect Triple to be the focal point. Triple has been fairly good. In the first year he came into the team played around him, had control mages, showed that he could play many other styles, but then started to just be even more proficient in the lane. The team responded to that, played even more around him. I mean, you do have Tomo, who is a pretty versatile AD carry, so some strategies play around him as well, but I think for the most part, this is a team that likes to play around mid and the AD carry.
Yeah, they do like to play around, more around those carry players, and I do believe that it's Diamond as opposed to Dreams for support for FlyQuest Academy. I could double check that in the document in just a second, but kind of looking at them and how they're expected to play, it is going to be Triple and Tomo. But then on the other side, we look at Counter Logic Gaming, and you kind of had talked about RJS, also known as Deus before, who's role swapped from mid to top and back top to mid again. And this is a player who before was kind of trying to get back into the rhythm of how mid lane is going to work. And it did seem that towards the end of Proving Grounds, he had really been able to get back into that stride and be able to hold his own against players such as Triple.
He had a lot of experience in a lot of different places. In Korea, playing, I believe it was in Challengers there. He was playing in LCS, subbing for CLGA, multiple roles. And now that the meta is revolves more around fighting and having a versatile champion pool, I think that this is right up his alley. Now, likes playing a lot of those mages, but I think the experience in the top lane can show off here because so far we've had so many games in, 4 games already, and half the time the champion pool in mid lane is not really mid laners that you can expect, right? We had Trist against Set, we had Trist against Lee Sin, we had TF against Lee Sin. In fact, it's just Lee Sin. It's just...
Well, and Nocturne versus Orianna, don't forget.
There you go,
one,
right? So much for mid laners now.
Yeah, exactly. Who needs them? Those go in the jungle now anyways, right? That's where they belong. Diana, Rumble. Well, Rumble, I guess, is more of a top laner. But you put them in the jungle now, they'll be fine. They'll be able to hold their own. I don't know. I just like that we saw a Fiddlesticks today. I'm excited about that, but I don't know if our junglers here in NXI and Keel are going to play that. I feel like, if anything, we're probably going to see more on the tanky side. Maybe the Udyr, like we have been seeing a lot of bans towards that champion. Rumble is still high on that priority, same with Diana. But I'm expecting it to be much more about trying to help out the rest of the team as opposed to trying to see if they are going to be the carries.
I think Schernfire was right in that Fiddlesticks is fun, first off. Yes. And he does help the team, though. I do think he actually helps the team because his team fighting is just so strong. He works as an engage tool. The Rumble needs setup. Fiddles is the setup and the damage, so you don't actually need anybody to set you up that well, and it helps a lot with all these physical damage solo laners that really want a mage that brings CC. So because he has so much damage and crowd control, kind of puts you in a position where you think, do I want to get Merc Treads? But then there's all this lethality coming out, all these auto attackers. So I think it's a great pick. It'll come back, and junglers have been practicing it. It's definitely something that has been around for a while. There's always been the rumors of how good Fiddlesticks could have been before in the past, and the fact that he's surfacing now just shows you that people have been trying things in the offseason and desperately looking to shatter the meta that has been held by our man-bear pig.
But we'll have to see if either of these two teams might want to play. Keel, maybe. He does like to play some of his AP junglers, but that's still something that's remained to be seen, because right now, as we jump into the draft, we see Varus and Nocturne banned by FlyQuest. We're now starting to see a little bit more of that priority put on the Varus, but Gwen, of course, more surprising that it is a blue side Gwen ban as opposed to the red.
We heard from Jenkins, he felt like it was not entirely blindable, right? You couldn't blind it. Maybe you don't have enough practice with it. The players are not that good with it just yet, but all in all, you don't want to just first pick it in. Oh, here we go. All right, you know what? I think there. I think. Okay, we get to see Renekton. That's the good. Let's go. We get something new. We get something new. Finally, he's out of jail. He's out of the zoo. We can finally see the crocodile in action. It's like when you go to see the exhibit and then, oh, sorry, they're in the back. They're being fed. You don't get to see them, or they're just sleeping, doing nothing. He's finally allowed to be played, but it's not paired with the traditional mage combo.
No, it's not.
So you take away the Udyr to deny it, and now you don't have that combo.
Oh, and look at this from FlyQuest. So now we are seeing a lot more change. We got, you know, the Udyr and the Lee Sin, and like you said, the Renekton. We're finally going to see him unleashed. But it's Kindred and Lulu off the side of FlyQuest Academy, which makes me wonder, do they want the Jinx? Do they want the Kog'Maw? Do they want these hyperscalers in the bot lane to be able to buff them up with the help of a Lulu and then also Lamb's Respite?
Okay. I mean, they want the CLG lineup to dive into you. That's what you love to see when you're a Lulu and Kindred. You want melee champions that got to get in your range so you can kite them away. So this pick of Syndra, I really appreciate, because Kindred hates Syndra. She's not buying it, Mar. She's keeping a distance, and Syndra's just gonna pop you with either a combo that doesn't even include her ultimate, or just presses R without using any spells and forces your Lamb's Respite. So I think that this is a great answer to what FlyQuest has thus far. Maybe an overreach out of them to go for this composition this early on, and CLG responds it. They recognize that you're trying to go with some sort of protect the carry combo you already have, and invulnerability with the ultimate, and massive protection and steroids with the Lulu, so you're banning away the Kog'Maw, the hyper carry. Probably a Jinx ban next, but you still got picks like Aphelios that are available.
Though not having that Thresh does also make the FLYA one of those more difficult champions, just because you really do like having the tool of the Lantern to reposition and be able to move around. But it's still an option, like you said, because of what they need to be able to have. But with Tristana banned, as opposed to being the Jinx that you normally would see a banned against this kind of composition, could be an easy lock-in for FlyQuest. That might be an easy read from CLG.
I think they're listening to what you just said, Magical, in that the Jinx needs too much peel, whereas the Tristana, well, she can also serve as a hyper carry. It's not going to be as insane when she gets the resets, but she'll still be very powerful and be able to protect herself from these carries. So I think that this is a pretty smart ban altogether, because it does give you the option, if you do peak these hyper carries, that you will be able to at least make sure that they are not also very mobile and well protected.
Well, now we have this Ashe lock-in for Katsuri into the bot lane. And, you know, you kind of had talked about these melee champions that want to dive into a Kindred Lulu and how bad that feels. Well, now they have pick potential. Not only did they already get that from that Syndra, but having an Enchanted Crystal Era on top of that to be able to dive into the backline a lot more efficiently and easily is a great change and adaptation coming in from the CLG lineup.
Okay, this is what I suspected. It's top lane Lulu.
Is it top lane or mid lane?
Ooh,
yeah, see?
Okay.
That's like, that one's a hard one to answer. I mean, you can see where it could be the Lee Sin mid lane. We've been seeing a lot of that. But Lee Sin, I would imagine, has a difficult laning phase into Syndra, because if you try to ever use the Sonic Wave to be able to jump on top of RGS, scatter the weak immediately. You've lost a lot of what you're able to do now as Lee Sin, since you can't get that burst of damage.
You're right, yeah. I think FlyQuest might have painted themselves into a corner this early on, because this early lead priority, maybe they foregone the Renekton, because Renekton's going to have a great time into these lanes as well. So I'm liking what I'm seeing out of CLG. It's an easy to execute composition, and they've given themselves a lot of tools to start a fight. Every single member on this team can start a fight on their own, whereas FlyQuest Academy is going to be mostly reliant on the Rakan to get something started. Lee Sin won't be that easy to execute, because the Alistar can just play a bodyguard every time. You ward hop in, get punted out. It's not going to happen. So Diamond has a Herculean task ahead of him, where he needs to find a crazy engage that also doesn't get instantly answered by a Scatter the Weak, and then everybody can't follow up.
Also, I just realized that both teams picked completely in order.
Oh, yeah. That's
yeah,
true.
right? I just realized that. I'm like, wait a minute, because I'm, putting my notes in my notebook. I'm like, wait, they picked 100% in order. Top, jungle, mid, ADC support. Interesting.
No swaps. No
No
one
swaps.
swapped.
No, don't need to swap. That's what they're going for. And with this, I kind of want to go back to that point you were making about Diamond, how difficult this is going to be. Diamond likes to play a lot of these hard engage kind of supports. The Thresh, that's going to be one of the most banned champions towards him, because if he ever gets Thresh, he has an absolute terror on that champion. But having something like Rakan that needs to be able to engage into stuff like an Ashe and a Syndra is going to be incredibly difficult.
Yeah, well, Game 1 is to try things out, but if we have learned anything from the beginning of these best of twos, it's that it has all turned into stomps. They have really been quite one-sided. It hasn't been one team adapting quickly. It has been, if you get stomped in the first one, chances are you're going to get stomped in the second one. And the one thing I see for FlyQuest that could potentially have them snowball in their favor would be NXI. Can the Kindred do something creative this early on? She's going to be slower than the Udyr when it comes to farming, but she is very aggressive, right? She can hop over walls. She has creative pathing, and Heal respects it, dropping a control ward over his red wall, but he won't be alone in matching NXI. The Ashe is the unsung hero of all junglers on their team, because she just presses Hawkshot, and now you've tracked the jungler and you've deduced his pathing, his future pathing, and everyone is loving it except the team that got hawkshotted.
This is where I want to see if NXI is going to do this one jungle pathing with Kindred that I remember Flyer teaching me back in the days when I was at Cloud9's houses and I was casting for them. He taught me this strategy with Kindred, where you're pretty much just, once you get level 3, you immediately try to gank any lane. You're trying to power farm only to level 3, and from there, you go for a lane gank. Well, lane gank or mid lane gank, whatever you can do to be able to get some flashes, and then from there, you've been able to get so much, it gives you a lot of wiggle room to then be able to farm up, since Kindred kind of needs to be able to do so, and if you get a kill, you've already gotten a good snowball rolling.
You got this straight from Blabber?
Yeah, this was back in the days when I was in the Cloud9 house.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
so level 3, you heard that here. That's how.
I mean,
how
this is
Blabber's
also
playing Kindred.
This is also back, what, 2018?
Yeah, different meta.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is 2018 era. It was just, I mean, it was a strategy that he did over and over again when he played Kindred in Academy. So it's something we could see here out of NXI. It's just dependent on whether or not, if you don't get that going, there are a lot of fallbacks. You don't have to go for that strategy, right? It's just one idea that you're able to do, and if it works, that is a great lead for Kindred.
Well, I think it makes sense because you're not gonna beat Udyr at farming. That's just objective. You're slower than Udyr, so you need to make something else to actually catch up into the game. Watch how far ahead Keel is already. They've both started on opposite sides of the map with equal help from their teams. He's already finished the crab and done the full clear. On the side of NXI. Oh, he's not flash over.
Oh, flash bear slap. Bye-bye. Even with the burning, barely alive with the help of the corrupting pot.
Oh, man. I think Keel did not have enough time to quickly switch to Phoenix Dance because of how soon RJS hit that combo. Wasn't exactly ready for it, but despite that, he's still really far ahead of the Kindred. He was able to do a full clear. The gank did slow him down, though, so that can go in the favor of NXI. You love to see it as a jungler. When you're playing a matchup that's a little bit slower, they go for a gank, and it doesn't get you a kill. You say, good job, teammates. Keeping my jungle disadvantage at a minimum.
And the thing is that NXI won the coin flip. It was able to get the Scuttle Crab with the mark on it. That's the big thing about trying to go for that kind of play, is it's a coin flip. What Scuttle Crab is going to have your mark to make it so you're going to get that early mark necessary to get the stacks. And for NXI, even if, you're going to fall behind, you're expected to lag a little bit behind this Udyr, you're still not hemorrhaging. You're not really losing too massively. You're keeping at least relative with Udyr to make it so that when these upcoming level 6 fights or even just skirmishes happen between the two of you, you're going to have a lot more damage that you're going to be able to throw back.
Yeah, you really don't care that much if you don't get those camps, as long as you keep getting those marks.
Exactly. It's just how Kindred works. It's why I was saying about that level 3 play too. It's one of the early ways to try to get these early marks, because once you get 4 marks, 4 stacks, you feel so much more powerful as Kindred. They just get this huge spike from there, and that's why Keel is trying to make sure that they're going to be able to make plays happen mid lane. There's not going to be that answer to help out NXI when he tries to invade, though. Right there, NXI was able to kite back pretty well, while bot lane, Ketsuri has to flash away, but Ignite should be enough. One more oh! 6 health! 6 health! Ketsuri lives!
So lucky! This Ashe just barely gets away, and it's when Hooks was leaving the lane. Diamond and Tomo saw the opportunity. They had the 1v2, and just barely were not able to connect on it. The good news for them is that they only actually burned the Ignite. It didn't cost that much, so they'll still be able to try that again, and if she's out of position, you really won't need the Ignite, because she can't get away from you anymore. Without flash, without heal, she needs to rely on something else, and that's going to be the mobility, as the first purchase for Katsuri will be those Berserker Greaves.
The thing to me, though, is 6 health. If you're Diamond, you're so upset about that one. It was single digits with your Ignite. One more tick would have been enough to be able to get the kill, and that would have been a huge amount of momentum gained by both Tomo and Diamond to the spot lane. While you're not really losing out too drastically, it's always a feels bad, isn't it?
It's divine intervention. Every time I don't get a kill by a sliver of health or I live, I just say, it was foretold. Divine intervention was on my side.
So my answer when I'm the one who lives with that little of health, I go, all right, time to go back in and still fight. And then my teammates are like, you're crazy. I'm like, yeah, I know that. And then when the enemy lives that way, I go, oh, it's rigged. It's something else. But right now, NXI and Diamond, all right, they're trying to invade Keel, but it's a level discrepancy between the two. Keel has that advantage as well as having the reinforcements.
And they don't have that much vision to actually see where Hooks is coming from. And because Katsuri has the way of pushing away from him, he can just chill back there and help his team out as well. But they're going to go onto this Ashe.
Ooh, I like that knock-up, and look at this. They're trying to get the damage onto Katsuri, but Hooks was amazing in that play to make sure FlyQuest Academy couldn't go any further.
They kept the Ashe alive. We knew they were going to... Whoa, Katsuri, get out of there.
Oh
my God.
Katsuri, what are you doing there, mate? You gotta bail.
You told them. You told them magically. You said, when I get away with 6 HP, you know what I do? I go back in. That's what he did. That's exactly what he did.
All right. Look, if I'm saying this and you're listening, I got some bad news for you, my friend. I'm not that good at the game. I'm much better at yelling at the game than anything else.
Oh, man. Hey, like... How do you feel as Hooks? You just put your life on the line to bail him out. All right, man, let's go back to base, and then you just see him there. You just see him go back in. It hurts, and it hurts the CS department. You're already 20 CS down. You're going to catch up some more, but you're going to be stuck in that tower all day long while Diamond and Tomo get to roam around and make plays.
Yeah, that's going to be nice for the side of FlyQuest Academy, being able to unlock that playmaker in Diamond to try to see what he can do in order to help out, especially NXI. That's really what you need to be able to get, is get more of these stacks into your Kindred.
He ended up getting a stack from that Ashe kill, actually. I see him now with the assist on it, and the mark, he only got the first one. So the fact that Katsuri went in was a double dangerous for that.
It looked like there was going to be a play, but, you know, backing out of there. Still, NXI, I got to go back to this one. Now he's starting to fall a little bit further behind. And it's expected. Your Kindred matchup, you're expecting that to be what takes place between the two of them. But sooner or later, you're falling too far behind. You're not really going to be that useful in these team fights.
That's where you rely on the Lulu, right? You want the Lulu to bust you up, to make sure that when you fall in behind, she can make it up for you with the items. But that doesn't really get you far ahead, and it concedes a lot of the pressure that you can apply on the map, because Keel can do whatever he wants. He can do no wrong. He already has his plated steel caps, so he's going to be really difficult to take down, since all of your DPS is really coming down from auto attacks. You can fully itemize armor and tabbies here, and there's not much to threaten you except the crowd control on the side of FlyQuest. So they're now at least posing for a dive against this Ashe, this poor unsuspecting creature. But at least the Alistar is right there, and the heal is back up though, so Doesn't seem as easy as it was last time.
And also with this Ashe, you're more wanting to be able to get these arrows out. That's your whole idea with grabbing an Ashe, is you're about the utility. Sure, you have a little bit of crit to help out beyond that, but you want to be able to get these arrows, so it's okay if you lose Ketsuri a couple times. What they need to start doing on CLG side is trying to see if they can help out RJS on the Syndra, because that is where you're going to be able to really help out in these fights, especially if you can blow up NXI before Lance or Spite can come out.
The Syndra is going to be a nasty pick later into the game. She is just going to be so good at keeping their distance from Tomo and NXI. It's going to force Lulu ultimates. It's going to force so much defensive tools without much commitment. That's going to be the key. Making sure that you can force the critical spells out of FlyQuest without having to put anybody in harm's way. And just like that, right? You just stun somebody out. We know the Syndra play pattern too well, and she's farming fine, and so is Lulu, but one is building defensive items to boost up her AD, while the other one is building a Luden's Tempest, making sure she's maximizing her DPS.
And if she's able to get that DPS out in these fights, blow up NXI, blow up Tomo, it's going to help out a lot, because that's where all the damage is really going to be for this FlyQuest Academy's composition. Since Triple has gotten Battle Song, this Lulu isn't really going to be able to provide that AP burst damage they need. As you can see, even though the play's happening top lane, Kumo trying to be able to get away. You get a lot of damage in from that help out. Oh, but the flash away. NXI has to burn the ult to be able to survive, but same with Tion. He's still alive. Going to be able to get the heal, and they bursted down NXI for Keel to take his first kill.
Their 2v2 is so strong. They both have a stun. They can just chain it onto each other. NXI just pops his ultimate to delay his death, and this is going to be paid for dearly. It might be 2 plates in this top side, as he has to base and walk all the way back. There's no teleport on this Lee Sin. Keel can also steal camps on this side of the map. It is a huge advantage on the top side for CLG. And without the Kindred ultimate, now she's going to be in even more danger and falling further behind the Udyr. So that is a huge win out of this side that can be exactly what they needed to ease up some pressure on the bot side, because they are losing relentlessly down here with Tomo and Diamond being consistently far up.
They're allowed to at the moment. They're allowed to be able to be this far up because there hasn't been that punish just yet. You can tell that Keel wants to be able to make this play bot lane, be able to help out Ketsuri, help out Hooks. But until you at least have a little bit more from RJS, who's now rotating down, you're not going to be able to do too much. You can see how Ketsuri and Hooks have to take this long path to be able to get back. Nice shield coming in from Diamond to keep NXI alive.
Yeah, okay. Got the Syndra ultimate, but it wasn't a scary one, right? She only had Scatter the Weak. There wasn't many Dark Spheres on the ground, so she gets away without having to force a Lulu ultimate. But they steal the crab, which was a big deal, because that's what they were fighting for in the first place.
Ooh, Keel? Okay, he's going to be spotted out. Jumped on top of getting a lot of damage. The arrow is going to connect onto Triple, but look at the damage coming in from NXI. It's going to be Diamond who takes the kill credit in this one. Would have loved to have gifted that over to NXI, but at least you got the kill.
But why? Why, Keel? What is the point of being down there? Because he is looking for a play by himself, and the rest of the team has an easy time collapsing onto that. You know, the red smite from Kindred, he's going to diminish that damage. RJS,
nice scatter the weak, trying to get the quickness, but flashed away to be able to survive.
Yeah, okay, just forces that. But that can only happen because the Udyr is dead. So important was he to keeping the rest of FlyQuest at bay from looking for all these plays across the map, and him going down there so seamlessly just put a big wrench in CLG's plan to continue to steamroll through this game. Now the Kindred's gonna be fine. She got another stack off that because Udyr was the one that is marked. She's now at 4 stacks, 14 minutes into the game. It's not the earliest time, but the fact that she's transformed is a big deal. It's usually the thing that keeps her from being relevant inside the game. It's not being able to get those stacks. And now that she's already at that stage, her ability to deal with Udyr and the long range of Ashe and Syndra just goes up exponentially.
Being able to kite back so much easier as well, plus then having that Lulu, Rakan, the double support for the team to help them out. The only one really going to be the question on what they're going to be able to do is going to be Kumo on this Lee Sin and how he's going to be able to help out in these team fights. Really, this is where you can kind of see an idea already of what he has in mind. having built up that Bramble Vest, he is going to be the kick bot, looking to find the place, looking to find out RJS, and maybe be able to help the team. As Hooks looks like he's caught out for now, taking a lot of damage, but it will be safe with the Blast Cone utilized by Keel to scare away FlyQuest.
It's a big ultimate there, taking out the Alistar, since now they're not able to contest this dragon. Nobody can really face check this anymore, and so now they get to start these objectives seamlessly, and they're slowly building up to a death ball comp. That's what they really want to do.
Okay.
Going after Ashe.
Looking for the quickness, but that was a quick arrow and flash from Katsuri to be able to keep that fight disengaged and not have to worry about being picked. As Diamond now wants to be able to see if he can get rid of that ward, but he might have overextended. They've got a lot of damage, even with the blade call coming in from Tomo, and force a lot out of Diamond to stay safe, with a heal on the other side from Katsuri to get away from Tomo.
All of these members just take so much damage from the DPS of either side. They have to respect each other, and that's what's often happening. The Udyr is just not able to go straight up to Tomo or even NXI anymore. He's just getting mauled down. There's so much DPS between these two, so he needs to make sure that if he's going to run at these members, the rest of the crowd control can follow up quickly, or else he will get cut down in a matter of seconds.
Now, ooh. Yeah, and it looked like he wanted to set up a dive with Keel nearby, but a good, quick wave clear from Kumo is going to at least disengage for now. In the meanwhile, we look at how things have kind of boiled down for both sides. This has been some great ward coverage out of CLG Academy, forcing further and further into enemy territory of FlyQuest to try to see if they can gain control around these objectives. Unfortunately for them thus far, they haven't been able to maintain those. They've lost the 2 dragons over to FlyQuest Academy, and now they want to be able to get this Rift Herald. If they can get this pick on the Diamond, that's going to be huge, but he's still going to be safe and away from the entire fight for now.
They got his flash, so he wanted to turn on that. Thought about maybe baiting in RJS because he has no flash. He's a sitting duck. Tomo looking to be aggressive.
They want these fights. They want these skirmishes so damn bad out of FlyQuest Academy. They need to be able to get these tanks, as you talk about, for NXI, but they've already got the 4. They shouldn't feel like they're forced to look for these plays over and over again. They've got a great scaling composition, so long as they make sure they're playing safe and they're not getting too overly aggressive.
Their itemization tells you everything of how badly they want these fights. It's the double Shirelius. They want speed. They want to get into the mix. They want to be able to catch out the individual members that have no mobility. Notice how much they're picking on RJS and Katsuri. That's really the only members they want to go after.
If they can find them, I mean, that's a lot taken away from CLG, especially if they can get RJS. Katsuri is going to have a good amount of damage as this Ashe, but you really want to make sure you're killing RJS before he's able to get an Unleashed Power or Scatter the Weak off. Because without that Syndra, that bursts potential onto someone like Tomo, someone like NXI, is completely eliminated.
Syndra, any game she's played is a priority target. Doesn't matter if it's bot lane Syndra, support Syndra, top lane Syndra, you always have to deal with her. But here we're going to have a 5v5 around Dragon.
Looking for the arrow onto Diamond, but Diamond's got the quickness and double knockup. Is still alive on the other side to be able to get away. And look at NXI chasing down RJS. There goes that burst potential. The re-engage from Kumo, looking for Hooks with a nice kill and knock over the wall. Looking for Katsuri as well. And you got the Sonic Wave. You got the double kill in Kumo. Tien trying to be able to heal up with the Call of the Meek, but it's going to be Lamb's Respite denying the kill onto NXI. Tien should be easy pick comes in for Kindred.
Oh, now this is getting out of hand. FlyQuest picked CLG apart. CLG's trying to take a fight on 2 different fronts, but they left RJS on the top side. He is 1v2ing against Triple and NXI, doesn't even force the ultimate out of Kindred. So watch what happens with Triple and NXI on the top side, because when Alistar engages down here, Kindred just goes in, she gets stunned, but there's nobody here to follow up. And while Tomo and Diamond get to disengage, you've already lost the Syndra in the top side. So the fight is already over. They're not going to be able to continue to fight because Kindred still has her own ultimate. And they don't have a problem to just continue to flash in and use everything, because their defensive spells had never been spent, as they never actually had to deal with a concentrated burst on a single member.
And with this is a massive amount of momentum for FlyQuest. Katsuri thought he was safe between the towers and gets blown up with a nice use of the Feather Storm and the Rift Herald in tandem mid lane. FlyQuest continue to bulldoze down anything that CLG Academy have left.
Once they smell blood, they really have never stopped being aggressive here. CLG, okay, you're going in, but there's no damage to really follow this up. The Alistar's not going to be enough. Diamond can always disengage onto you, and Ashe and Syndra are so far behind, especially the Ashe. Looking after Kumo here is heal, but this just won't do anything. The Lee Sin is the safest member of them all. While the Dragon is being taken, FlyQuest advanced that much closer to their victory as they're just rolling away with this game.
They're getting everything that they possibly could need. Now within Soul Point, a Mountain Soul as well. If you had a difficult time bursting down FlyQuest already, well, it's not going to get any easier. Not for some time, at least, unless, of course, CLG can find that miracle. They still have good bursts out of RJS. They can still utilize this Syndra to find these plays, but at the moment, they just haven't been able to get enough. NXI has been able to kite around so well. Same with Tomo. The double threat. Who do you focus first?
You focus whoever is closest, and you kite back as best as possible. There's really no way to commit now. There's just too much damage, so you have to make sure that you're not trading damage for damage because your carries are going to get out DPS by NXI and Tomo at the moment. The double marksman combination is so much stronger in sustained fights than is the burst of the Renekton and Syndra, who are burst champions. They need to get in range, they use their spell rotation, and they just have to wait. And even that is getting out DPS by just sustained damage from the AD carry. So that's when you know you're in some trouble. And he's dead again.
Oh, no, RJS. You don't have a jungle anymore. I'm sorry. Keel lost all rights to that when you lost the last fight. And with that, that's the burst. That's the wave clear gone for CLG Academy. Even if the Baron's up, they're not going to go for it because all they have to do is wait it out. Keep pushing in. The double marksman comp with the double support. Such an easy thing, and now hooks. Did you not learn the lesson of RJS? you got learn people.
Oh, RJS wrote down the lesson, but then the booklet was lost. They didn't place it anywhere. He's dead.
Tomo! 1v1 now. Tian trying to see if he can at least get something back for the team, but the Lambs are spiked just in time to be able to save the life of the ADC with a kick away and a killing spree for Kumo. While Keel fights against Triple in the jungle. FlyQuest now completely in control of this game.
All the pings are on Baron. Double marksman. You've got the Kraken Slayer already. Easy Baron to take. Keel doesn't even have flash, and there is no blast cone. A steal should not be possible here. Diamond is just playing bodyguard. He won't die to the Udyr. So they just have to burst this one down and bring themselves that much closer to now they killed Udyr. They just keep dying.
Might help if you kill the jungler. He can't flash over the wall. He's still alive. Somehow still alive, but the Baron's been taken by FlyQuest this entire time. All the while, you see that Diamond and Kumo are able to scare away the remaining members of CLG Academy from even trying to put up a fight. Looking to see if he can pick up that kill. Kumo, do you do it? Yeah, he does! Let's go, baby! Gets the kill, gets her flashing away, trying to be able to get away, but he cannot do so. And now Kumo takes down the cow underneath the dirt, and is still alive! Kumo, how are you doing it?
This should just end the game right here. CLG, if the coach on the sideline needs to tap out, this is getting out of hand. FlyQuest is just destroying them. That greedy base just snowballed so much more. That should have just been, you got picked, you lost the Baron, and then you backed off. But CLG continued to march onwards into the red side and just got obliterated. Kept sending more and more kills for no reason. There was no attempt at getting any kills. They were just getting routed from the moment they entered their jungle.
I'm just proud of Kumo. I'm proud of my boy over there. Another one of the players I worked with back in the day of Cloud9 Academy, back when we were in the house. Just seeing him go for that aggressive dive there, the Lee Syndrome, of saying, I landed the Q, must follow up, and then somehow living. It's beautiful.
That's the beauty. All the Lee Sins gaze inside their inner eye. Of course, not their regular eye, since it is a blind champion. But when they land that Q, they envision exactly what Kumo just did. To be able to go in and be as quickly as Diamond is right now.
Oh, look at this. They thought they had to pick on Atomo because he used so much trying to be able to engage, but now Hooks is the one caught out, made into hamburgers, with everyone pushing mid lane. Baron buff helping out the members of FlyQuest. They even got the buffed up cannon minion. CLG Academy, they're all the way back in their base because they know it's so easy for Diamond to look for a dive.
Look at how much respect they have to pay to the engage of FlyQuest right now. And Lee Sin isn't even there. They don't have hooks. Great scatter of the week, but no one dares get even close to this. They'll just back off.
Like,
they got the Ocean Soul.
Why would you try it? You can see they're trying now, saying, oh, maybe we can make this play, but they gotta be so fearful of FlyQuest Academy. The only reason I think they're even trying this desperately now to make any fight happen is because if they don't, it's going to be an easy Mountain Soul picked up by FlyQuest.
And that would be the end, for sure. Oh, Ash, you gotta let the Alistar face check. Here's Tomo on the side, though. Great angle for the Kaisa.
Look at Kumo. He's looking for the kick onto RJS, into the knock-up, and into the kills. Easy cleanup coming in from FlyQuest Academy. They've got 3 picks. Dian tries to flash in, wants to be able to get anything back for the team, but he dies to the double kill carry of Support Diamond.
They don't need the soul. They can just end it right here. They're all dead. Udyr is not even going to respond to this one. He's got no chance. FlyQuest obliterates CLG in the first game of the best of 2.
They are looking strong. They are looking like they have fixed any mistakes coming in from the spring because this game was so clean out of FlyQuest. It was a little slow out of NXI on that Kindred, but that is expected. Into Udyr. Once they were able to find those proper fights, FlyQuest never relented.
CLGA was in a good position. I thought that Udyr was doing fine. You got a gank on Syndra. It looked like it would go well, but then when they found the gank on the Ashe, right, when Ashe lived and then came back, and then the snowball began, and then Udyr with the 2v2 top looked so good, but then suddenly gave the kill back to Kindred. That was, I think, the moment that it all fell apart. From that point forward, CLG just could not do much more because the Kindred got 4 stacks. You gave her so much, and you gave her the reward that she needed to make up for the CS deficit, and, well, now she was even with Hyper Carry, Lulu Booster behind her, and never looked back.
That's what we said. Once you get 4 stacks as Kindred, you feel like a champion again.
It's a champion that I think is very fun to see in the meta right now because we now just have Kindred, but we're going to have Kindred with Sylas, both in the meta. So you're going to have a lot of Lamb's Respites, and it's one of those ultimates that can make or break a team fight out of nowhere. So you as the jungle player have a big responsibility on your shoulders to press that button. You press it wrong, you might have just cost your team the fight or won them the game.
That's
Who knows?
That's going to be so confusing for me when it comes to team fights if that happens. Just double Lamb's Respites. I'm not going to know what to do with myself. I'm going to be like, who's Lamb's Respite? I don't know. It's somebody's Lamb's Respite. But in this game, we didn't have to worry about that. We just had good gameplay out of FlyQuest Academy to take game 1 of the best of 2. We're going to toss it to a break. When we come back, we're going to dissect that game with some replays, so stick around.